Today we're ranking the metal greats according to someone that created a tier list for us. First video back after 3 years and we're ranking some mediocre bands. Well, I can't be bothered doing my own tier list, so we're just going to do this one. So the higher the band is ranked, you know I really enjoy them. Let me know your tier in the comments below and let's start. So, this is going to be hard. For my computer's down here and the camera's down here, so how am I going to put some, eye contact? AC/DC is first. Destroying Legends. Pretty good band, I must say. Great albums like Back in Black, Highway to Hell. The new album was complete dog shit, but they're a good band, so I'm going to put them in decent. If I can, yes. Next up is As I Lay Dying. Well, they're an okay metalcore band. Not really a big fan of their stuff. It's just basic metalcore, no thrills, no spills. Shaped by Fire was a good album, but nothing special. An Ocean Between Us was an alright album. I'll put them in decent as well. Actually, I think I should make it another tier. Name it okay. Add row up. No, fuck. Okay, I think I actually got it now. So yeah, I'm putting in okay tier because they're just okay for me. Next up is Airborne. A really fun band, live, heavy metal, and they got some great songs and albums. They remind me of AC/DC instead of a heavier fucking version. Breaking Out of Hell, such a fun album. The song Too Much, Too Young, Too Fast, so damn good. Solos for Days. Airborne sit in a decent for me, so I'm going to put him in decent. Next up is Alice in Chains. Such a classic fucking band. Adding some grunge on the tier list. Lane Staley and his crew really dropped some killer records in the earlier years, like Dirt, Facelift, and the Tripod album The Dog. Those are probably the 3 albums I revisit with the classic songs. Man in the Box, Wood, Rooster, some classic songs are just brilliant. They are a great band, so I'm putting them into the greats tier. Alright, surprise, Amaranth is on this list. They produced some very good albums earlier in their career. One of the first bands to blend metalcore and pop and thrash and whatever. It really works. They are a hybrid band, so they'll pretty much play anything. At least ride incredible vocals. Albums like The Nexus, Amaranth, and Massive Addictive, all fantastic fucking albums. They have produced some real stinkers as well, and unfortunately their stinkers have now outweighed the best albums. So for me, I'm putting them in just okay. I used to really enjoy them, but my music taste has changed and I prefer other bands than Amaranth. Amon Amarth is next, and this goes to decent. Easily the decent. They're a really good band producing their type of melodic death metal. There are some great early albums from the band, from the great early albums like The Crusher, Fate of Norns versus the World with Odin on Our Side, The Twilight of the Thunder God, and Set to Rising. But later on in the discography, they have definitely fallen, making mediocre albums. Yeah, they deserve to be in decent tier. I'll put them in decent. Anthrax is next, and I'll put them in decent as well. Oh, not really a big fan of Anthrax, to be honest, but I do like some of their albums like Spreading Disease, Among the Living, Fistful of Metal. One of the big fours in thrash metal, and they changed the landscape for metal in general, so I do respect them and what they have done for metal, but they're going into decent. After those 4 albums, they really have made some poor releases. Apocalyptica is next, and it goes into the, okay tier. They're a good band, mainly instrumental, very creative band. Their main instrument is the cello, and it can sound quite heavy. Cell Zero, the 2020 album was pretty good, and Shadowmaker, but I don't really go back to this band, so it's sitting in the okay tier. Arch Enemy is next, and I'll put them, in decent. Oh, no. Oh, you're kidding. Yep. Good way to stuff up stupid fucking ads. So yeah, I'll put them in decent. Good melodic death metal, but I don't think I could rank them any more higher than decent. It's a band that I like, but I don't really want to go back to. Deceivers, Will to Power, War Eternal, Anthems of Rebellion, I think it's called. All very good albums, but I'm putting them in decent. So we got Avantasia is next. You know what? I'm going to put him into decent. Very good band, really do enjoy it, most all of their albums, so they go into decent. Got Avatar. Now, Avatar is a band that I'm not really into. They're not bad, they're just okay. I haven't really explored them much. Who knows, maybe in the near future they'll rise, but Avatar sits in okay. But Avenged Sevenfold is next. Very good band, dabbling around at first metalcore, then heavy metal and progressive metal. Their latest album was a shit show, but albums like The Stage and Nightmare and City of Evil are terrific. My bias aside, I'm putting them in greats. They're one of the greatest modern metal bands. I'm actually surprised Breaking Benjamin is on this list. They are sort of metal, more like hard rock. When I was a kid, I used to love Breaking Benjamin. My taste has definitely changed, but once in a while, I will put on the Diary of Jane or Medicate and bang my head to it. Phobia, The Agony, We Are Not Alone, all really good albums. I might put them in decent, but years ago it would be up in my favorites. So Black Sabbath goes in my favorites tier. Favorite fucking tier, holy shit, fucking S tier band, terrific band, Ozzy Osbourne vocals, incredible, even Dio taking the realms, and then Tony Martin, Tony Iommi and his exceptional guitar work. Black Sabbath, the debut album, still hits hard to this very day. Paranoid is still a banger. Black Sabbath sits in the favorites tier. Blind Guardian is next, and I'm putting them in greats. What an amazing band, German power symphonic metal. Terrific band throughout the years, and they are still making albums. Somewhere Far Beyond is so good. Beyond the Red Mirror is an underrated Blind Guardian release. The Epic, A Night at the Opera, and A Night for Middle Earth, just amazing albums. Yeah, they're going in the greats tier. Bring Me the Horizon goes into decent. I really enjoy some of the stuff. They are a polarizing band, and they have produced some really good fucking albums. First started off with deathcore, then transitioned to metalcore. Now they are more alternative, but the latest album was more emo inspired and was pretty fucking good. They are one of the biggest metal bands in modern times, so they are a pretty good band. They have experimented a lot trying to break the boundaries, break the boundaries of metal, of what metal could sound like. So Bullet for My Valentine, the UK metalcore outfit, really giving us some meaty and infectious riffs throughout their career. I still love this band, but it feels wrong to put them in greats in my opinion, so I'm just putting them in decent. The earlier stuff like The Poison, Scream Aim Fire, Fever are S tier stuff, but they did produce some mediocre fucking albums. Afterwards, like Gravity is a pretty disappointing album. Completely changed the sound. I'm just putting him in decent. Cradle of Filth is next, and they instantly go into favorites. Hello, favorites. I fucking adore Cradle of Filth. I love the albums. Principles Evil Made Flesh to Existence is Futile. So many great albums. Symphonic black metal at its finest. Of course, Cradle of Filth changes sound, but everyone knows what Danny Filth sounds like, whether you love it or hate his vocals. I love him, and Cradle of Filth, so it's going into favorites. Def Leppard going into decent. Oh, shoot the messenger, I don't give a fuck. A band that is good, but nowhere near as good as the other bands on this list in my opinion. I don't really listen to them, but I do like albums like Hysterium, Pyromania. They're fine, I guess, but I'll put them in decent. Dimmu Borgir as well, I'll put them in decent. It's a band that hasn't clicked for me after many years I've been listening to them. Good symphonic black metal, and I've even seen them live, but they are slowly growing on me. Ionian is an album I really love from them. I'm hoping I'll love them more soon. But yeah, it's taken me years to enjoy their stuff. Disturbed was one of my favorite bands once, but over the past 10 years, they have been really releasing shit albums. I love the early work, and I usually stick with that era from The Sickness to Asylum. The early albums I really like. Between that, their latest offerings are like Evolution, Divisive are not good. So with Disturb, I'm torn, but I'm just going to put them in the okay. They really have dropped the crystal ball now, and it's shattered all over the floor now with no one to clean up their fucking mess. Dream Theater, of course, goes into fucking favorites. Hello. Dream Theater favorites are they're one of the greats. I discovered Dream Theater on this channel through reactions, and from then I absolutely fell in love with them. Progressive metal at its finest, with John Petrucci creating the best emotional guitar solos. James LaBrie on vocals, to me, it always hits the spot. They have made amazing records like Awake, Images and Words, 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence, Metropolis Part 2, and Octavarium. So yeah, they instantly go into favorites. Evanescence, I'll put them in, you know what, decent tier. Yeah, we'll just put them there. They've made terrific songs, and Amy Lee's vocals are one of the best in the metal genre. So angelic and commanding, but they are a band I don't really listen to much anymore, but I do appreciate their music. Five Finger Death Punch goes into favorites. No, it goes into bad. And I'll tell you why. Their earlier albums were fantastic, but they start to sound the same and produce some really bad albums like Gotcha 6, which is one of the worst albums in metal, and Justice for None is another stinker. F8, not too good either, and Afterlife is just boring, filled with ballads. Yeah, they go into bad tier. Foo Fighters is decent, pretty good band. We'll drop them here. Pretty good band, plays more hard rock than metal. I do love the guitar work on Foo Fighters albums, and they have some great songs. I don't really listen to them, but I prefer to listen to Foo Fighters now than Five Finger Death Punch. Actually, whoever made this tier list should be shot between the eyes, because this list is fucking awful. So I'm putting Ghost in great tier, right up the top. Yep, they are a divisive band, but I personally love them. They bring back the old classic metal sound in their songs. Just so many great albums by this band, like Opus Eponymous, Meliora, Prequel, and even the latest album, Pura, was amazing. They are so good live as well. Heavy live, and their live shows are filled with storytelling. Such a good fucking band. It deserves in greats. Godsmack goes into okay tier. Again, I don't really listen to him, but I've heard most of the discography, and it's just okay. Alternative metal, or what you would call butt rock nowadays, they're okay, not bad, just okay. Gojira is next, and after stunning everyone at the Olympics, I got to be brutally honest, I think Gojira are decent, but a lot of their albums I don't really want to go back to and listen to them. The riffs and drumming on their albums are great. L'Enfant Sauvage, From Mars to Sirius, really good albums, but the latest album, Fortitude, was a miss for me. Hopefully Gojira can win me back with their next album. I'm sure after the Olympics they gained millions of fans, but didn't gain me. Guns N' Roses is decent. I'll put them in decent tier. Great earlier albums, you know, we'll drop them here. Great earlier albums, amazing guitar solos, Appetite of Destruction, easily the best album, and it's such a fun listen. The rest of the discography is just average. Nothing special in my opinion, so I'll put them in decent. Hailstorm is next, and I'm putting them in I don't know. I've seen them live, and they were actually really good live. So much emotion in the vocals. It's a band I need to explore a lot more. However, I'm putting them in I don't know. Hamilton, never fucking heard of this band. So I'm putting them in don't know. That's another band I need to check out. Another band I'm putting in don't know is also Hammerfall. I think I've heard a few albums by them. They are power metal, I know, but I can't confidently say that I know them. Hammerfall will go in the don't know them tier. Now here's a band I know. Halloween goes into great tier. An amazing power metal band. I love most of their albums. Brilliant guitar and vocals. Just classic power metal. Great albums like Keep It to Seven Keys, Wars of Jericho, self-titled album Halloween, with all three vocalists reuniting. They are a great band and deserve to be in the greats. Hollywood Undead, going to say I don't know them. I can't say I've heard anything from Hollywood Undead before. I've definitely heard the name before, but never really listened to their music. In Flames is next, but you can't help to put that mellow death band into greats, which I will. They have made amazing albums, some mediocre albums, but I think they're more than decent. Lunar Strain, The Just a Race, Horacle, Colony, Clayman. Early In Flames was incredible. Even their latest album, Forgone, was pretty good. In Flames goes into greats. Now we come to Maiden, Iron Maiden. Do I even have to tell you where this goes? It goes into fucking favorites. Yes, sirree. Right up the top for me. And I absolutely adore them. I love most of their albums. The Number of the Beast, Power Slave, Summer in Time, Brave New World, and even their latest offerings like Senjutsu and Book of Souls. Without hesitation, Iron Maiden goes into favorites tier and should be in greats as well. I'm putting Judas Priest in the greats tier. Amazing band. Rod Halford vocals are unique with his crazy falsetto. I love Judas Priest, and they have just made killer albums over the years. Invisible Shield is one of my favorite albums from this year, and they're still killing it with their metal. Killswitch Engage are decent. It's a band I don't really go back to. Now I've discovered better music than them. They have produced some great albums over the years, like The End of the Heartache, some really good early metalcore, but there are a lot of better bands than Killswitch Engage in my opinion. they go into decent. Korn for me goes into great, easily for me. One of my childhood bands, definitely got me into heavier music, but I'm not a real big fan of the newer stuff. But albums like Life is Peachy, self-titled, Take a Look in the Mirror, Issues and Follow the Leader cemented me in becoming a metalhead, so to explore heavier music. So I thank Korn for that, and they're going into greats. Creator goes into greats as well, right high up to the top. Amazing thrash metal band. I love albums like Pleasure to Kill, Endless Pain, Coma of Souls. Actually, I love all the albums. They are good. Cavell Attack is pretty cool. Awesome post-black metal band. I feel they should go into decent. Right there. I listen to most of the albums. Me, Split, all good shit. Lacuna Coil I'll put in decent as well. About here. Love how epic some of the songs sound. Been around for many years now. Inner Reverie is such a great album, and Kamali's. Lamb of God, some groove metal for you. Really good band. Love how heavy they can get. Seen them live in a few times now. I'll put them in decent tier as well. The Wrath, Sacrament, and the iconic Ashes of the Awake are brilliant albums. I'm not a real big fan of the newer stuff, but Lamb of God's still a decent band. Limp Bizkit goes into just okay. I mean, they're just okay. But I wouldn't listen to them religiously. They got some absolute bangers like Rollin', My Way, My Generation, Nookie, Take a Look Around. But the newer stuff, get in the bin. Linkin Park goes into favorites. My God, definitely a gateway band for me to get into metal. I love Linkin Park, and rest in peace Chester Bennington. His vocals were something special, but they blend new metal elements with their songs with Mike Shinoda rapping, and it's a match made in heaven. Everyone should know the Hybrid Theory and Meteorola, absolute classic. So Linkin Park goes into favorites. Manowar goes into greats. Such a manly heavy metal band. Yes, but their music is so catchy and melodic. Great musicianship. Kings of Metal is such a great album. Really starting to like Mastodon now. I love their latest album, Hushed and Grim. Most of their albums are great, like the progressive masterpiece, Crack the Sky. Such a great band at the moment. I'm putting them high up into decent. Ooh. Megadeth for me is better than Metallica. That's in my opinion. Dave Mustaine is a genius. The amazing solos, those juicy riffs, and albums like Rust in Peace and Countdown to Extinction are just masterpieces. So we're putting them right up the top. 2 favorites. Metallica is a hit and miss band for me. I like most of the albums, but I more lean towards the early stuff like Ride the Lightning and Master of Puppets. Not a big fan of their mid-era stuff like Load and Reload and Saint Anger with that stupid tingy snare. So I'm still putting Metallica into greats because they changed the landscape of metal. So Machine Head's a pretty good band. So it's a pretty good band. Really heavy stuff as well. Do like the Blackening album, so I'm just going to put him in just okay because I'm not really a big fan of Machine Head, but yeah. Now we got Marilyn Manson. Marilyn Manson is decent. I do enjoy some of their stuff, like Mechanical Animals. I saw him live in 2015 and he couldn't fucking finish the show. He was fucking stoned off his chops. So that left a bad taste in my mouth. Overall, consistent band, I'll put them in decent. Motorhead, I'll put into greats, and I'll tell you why. Albums like Ace of Spades actually got the CD and it's an absolute banger. A lot of Motorhead sound the same, but why fix when it ain't broke? So good. So Nightwish goes into favorites for me. I discovered Nightwish on this channel, on this very channel with reactions, and I have a huge Nightwish fan base. All the albums are amazing. I love all the singers from Talia, Annette, and Floor. Really looking forward to the newest album, Yesterwind, which drops next month. And yes, you better believe it, I'll be covering it on this channel. Believe it or not, I have never been a fan of Nirvana. I think they're okay. I don't hold them to a higher pedestal like most of you do. They just go into okay. I'm putting Pantera into greats for me. Amazing albums. Loved Dimebag's guitar work on the albums, the solos, Vinny's drumming as well. Rest in peace. The Great Southern Trendkill is probably my favorite album by Pantera. Just insane groove metal. Papa Roach goes into decent as well. I really love Papa Roach up until the latest stuff. The new stuff can get in the bin. Their old stuff like Infest, Getting Away with Murder are fucking classics, so I'll put them in decent. So Parkway Drive goes into favorites for me. Yeah, really enjoy all the albums. Loving the recent releases like Reverence, Iron, Darker Still. But you got classics like Horizon, songs like Carry On. Yeah, love this band. Seeing them next month as well. Seen them plenty of times. They are just amazing live. Don't know what PW is, so I'm just putting him in don't know. It could be Powerwolf, but I'm not going to guess. Rammstein goes into greats as well. Terrific German band. Love all their albums, including the newer ones. Mutter is probably my favorite album by them. Just so many amazing songs. Sabaton, never been a real big fan of Sabaton. I do like some of their songs. Careless Rex is such a great album, but not really into the newer ones. Good power metal. I'll put them in just okay. Septic Flesh is good. I'll put them into decent. Like their latest offering, Modern Primitive, released a few years ago. Some ruthless symphonic death metal. Codex Omega was great as well, but I don't really listen to them. Sepultura is a classic band now. To be honest, I really like the early stuff that was more black and fresh, like Morbid Visions, but they certainly changed the sound, which I wasn't a big fan of. I'm putting them into decent. Skid Row, I'm surprised is on here. It's not really metal. Slave to the Grind, probably my favorite album by them, so I'll put him in the decent tier as well. Solid to Prevail is next. I'm not a big fan of their deathcore sound. I'm not a big fan of deathcore in general. Alex the Terrible vocals are monstrous, and he's a talented vocalist, but I don't really like Solid to Prevail, so I'm putting them in bad. Just unnecessary breakdowns, trying to be heavy just for the sake of it. They can get in the bin. Slayer instantly goes into greats. Amazing fucking thrash metal. Yeah. One of the big fours. I love the early work, Show No Mercy, Rain in Blood, How Await, Season of the Abyss, South of Heaven, all absolute head-banging albums. Their newer stuff, not a big fan of. Slipknot also goes into greats for me. Oh, wow. Yeah, Slipknot also goes into greats. Early albums in discography were amazing. I always still one of my favorite albums of all time. They have made some classic songs, so they go into greats tier. Their new stuff, well, it can get in the bin. Like their latest album, The End So Far, what a crock that was. Sonata Arctica was some progressive power metal, awesome band. Love most of the albums, Ecliptica, Winter Hearts Guild, just so many great albums by them. Problem is, I don't really go back to them, so I'll put them in decent. Stratovarius, another great band, similar to Sonata Arctica. They'll face the same fate when I put them into decent as well. That's Stone Sour. We'll put them in bad. Yeah, well, Stone Sour is not that great either. I never was a big fan of Stone Sour, so we're just gonna put them in bad as well. System of a Down is next. To be truthful, yeah, I don't really enjoy the music. Toxicity is alright, but I'm not a big fan of them. Actually, I don't like them one bit. They can get in the bin and go into bad. 3 Days Grace, I really enjoyed the early stuff like 1X. Amazing album, some alternative hard rock, heavy at times. The newest releases with a change of singer, not good, but I'll put them in okay. Testament goes into favorites, the highest fucking tier. They should be with the big four. Still underrated, I believe. I love every fucking album by them, even their latest one released a few years ago, Titans of Creation. You got classic albums like Practice What You Preach, The New Order, The Gathering, and The Formation of Damnation. So many amazing fucking albums. So I'm putting them into favorites right here. So Tool goes into greats, awesome band, progressive metal with some great musicianship. Maynard's vocals at times are on another level. Lateralis, Anima, Fear Inoculum, all great albums. So I'll put Trivium, Tool into greats. We got a few more. Trivium, I'll put in the greats as well. They are terrific. I love how they experiment throughout the discography, and it's always a different sound from them. Shogun, like is one of my favorite Trivium albums. Very good band, deserves to be in greats tier. We got Volbeat. Yeah, I think they're mediocre. Don't really listen to them, but heard some of their albums. I think they're pretty boring, so I'm putting it into fucking bad. And finally, we got Within Temptation. Awesome band. Really enjoy most of the stuff in the newer releases, but they're not as good as Epica or Nightwish, so I'm just going to put them in decent here. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with my tier list. Pretty happy. If you don't like it, then too bad for you. Go make your own list. Let me know your ranking. It's been fun, and I'll see you in the next one.